Okay, Bear here. Welcome to Info 7390. The name of the course is kind of meaningless. It's just a generic name. I didn't decide on the name. This course is about how do we know something is true? How do we know our data is good? And how do we use actual mathematics and scripts and tools to validate things, to help us know, understand something is true? That's what this course is about. In all of my courses, they're very hands on. You learn by doing. You don't learn by so much listening to me talk. You learn by doing. On our GitHub here, which is an important one, we have hundreds, maybe thousands of notebooks of people doing stuff. It's gotten a little disorganized. So for some reason, last semester, people started putting their notebooks here, and they shouldn't be there. There's too many of these notebooks for me to do by hand. So I'm going to be writing a script in class, which is going to reorganize this GitHub. It's going to figure out, okay, what is this assignment related to? Maybe rename it. This isn't a particularly good name. It's too generic. And then put it where it's supposed to be. We're going to do that with a script. A lot of what I'll do in class is show. For example, I'll probably write the script in class to reorganize this whole thing as a way of showing how to do things. In terms of the theory, I'm going to put a lot of videos up, little short videos like the ones you're watching now, explaining the theory. And there are hundreds of notebooks here, which show different kinds of things, how to do different kinds of things by different people. So, for example, if you look at the string projects, this person has this little tool here. We're going to go through a lot of these, and I'm going to critique them. For example, here, that's not a good idea. So I'm going to delete this right now. Don't put your OpenAI keys up. That's not the smartest thing in the world to do. Hopefully somebody hasn't. I'm just going to destroy this now. And do that. But do not put your OpenAI keys as readable files on the GitHub. It's not a good idea. But we'll go through these things. Oh, and again, now that I've seen that, I'll probably write a little script to check, are people putting their OpenAI keys on here, and remove them. But that's not a good idea. You are going to make videos. So rather than putting your OpenAI key up, you're going to make a video demoing that your thing works. That way you don't have to give me your OpenAI key in order to get it to work. You can just show me that it works. Along, document your code and talk about your code and do all that kind of stuff. But I'll critique all these things. My big critique now, without going into detail, is do not put your OpenAI keys on the GitHub. That's not a good idea. But if we find these things, I'll just go ahead and delete them. But it's partly better because, again, there are hundreds of notebooks on this. You have to do various things related to the issue of how do we know something is true? How do we validate data? And again, do not put them here. Put them where they belong. But we'll get into that when we talk about the class. In order, there's so much has been done. I'm going to have to write a script just to reorganize the whole thing. So we'll do some checks. Are there exposed things that should be exposed, like OpenAI keys? And where does this belong? And maybe rename it, because if 10 people name their assignment 1 understanding data, then it can't fit. It has to be renamed to something more reasonable. So the first 3 weeks, we're going to really talk about theory. How do we know something is true? And in particular, we're going to talk about another project, 2 other projects, in fact. One is where I'm going to teach a course probably in the spring, which we call in Computational Skepticism. And this gets into sort of how do we use tools to validate things in a much more hardcore way. This will be sort of this is an advanced data science, and that'll be a sort of an advanced data science course. It really gets into sort of the fundamental problem of AI. How do we know AI is giving us the right answer? And how do we use AI tools to check AI? We already have maybe 50 people working on this project. Project is called Popper and Botspeak, the 2 projects. And what they're doing is they're building little notebooks. So for this Botspeak thing, people are building little modules. Here's NAS stuff, module 1. Everything in all my classes is learning by doing. So it's not just talking about sort of what is bias, but showing, giving exact, examples, real world examples, not just talking about, okay, identify tasks, but show me. Show me in actual concrete examples of where this idea is useful. That runs through everything. Show me, show me, show me, show me, show me, show me. And so you want to know the theory. And so you're going to talk about the theory, and I'll talk about the theory in class. But then we don't really know anything is right until we try. Does it actually work in the real world? Does this theory work? And so the way to do that is, and so what you guys are going to do is write tools, or your first assignments can be teaching one of these concepts of how can we validate something in a very specific way? Like, how can we validate that links in my article are correct? My scientific article has 300 links in it. How do I validate those links, and those links are true, or whatever you want? Again, on both of these, GitHub, this one has as many. This has maybe 40 notebooks. This one probably has 200, 300, maybe 400 notebooks doing various things. So it's okay to, and in fact, encouraged to look at notebooks and then improve them. I will randomly go through notebooks and just critique them. I'll just take a notebook, look at this one. But now I already have the critique of it needs a README explaining what it is. I should never go to at least this has a README explaining, okay, what is this thing? But I'll also critique the README. This is a little too generic, but in class, basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to get into the details. And then with everything in class, so here's a little link to YouTube. Let's see if this exists. It may not exist because this is I don't know, a year ago, 2 years ago. This still's up, and they're explaining it. You're going to do things like that. You are going to explain what you do through videos, through the markdown, through everything. But the focus of this course here is, how do we know something is true? How can we clean our data? People say garbage in, garbage out. Well, how do we automatically check whether our data is appropriate for the task? How do we automatically clean it up? How do we check for errors? How do we check for outliers? How do we do all this stuff? We're going to do it by doing it. And then talking a little bit about the theory, for example, how many samples do we need to know something is true to get a 95% confidence interval? So we will talk about theory, but a lot of this is hands-on. You are going to be building things. Probably 30 minutes of every class, I am going to be building something, and I'll put that YouTube video on YouTube. And typically what I build in class is just a starter to get you started doing something, and then you're going to extend it. You are going to build it. So the first part of class, we talk about sort of how do we know something is true. We also talk about skepticism. What skepticism means is not nihilism, not just negative, no, that's wrong, that's wrong, that's wrong. But what is the evidence that this is true versus the evidence that it's not true? And a lot of what we're going to do is not say something is true or not true, but develop systems, AI systems, which present evidence for and against some assertion. And we want to do that with AI because AI is really good at that. It can check thousands, tens of thousands, millions of things if you have the computational power to do it. So you want to do it. You want to, for example, we're writing this book here, this cancer textbook. This cancer textbook is 40 chapters long. And we use AI to get us a first draft. But each one of these chapters here has hundreds of assertions. And so we need tools which automatically validate, is my figure accurate? Is what I'm saying here about this true? What's the evidence that this is true? And so we write systems to do that. We write systems to check, was there a National Cancer Act in 1971? Is that true? through all of this stuff. And, it would be a nightmare to do this for all 40 chapters of this book, 38 chapters of this book. Instead, what we do is we write systems. And what those systems do is, because the AI is pretty good, most of it will be true. But what's not true, it will then flag and say, hey, human being, this little assertion here on pediatric cancer doesn't have any evidence supporting it. Check that. But everything else in this chapter has evidence supporting it. And that's what these systems do. And those are the systems you're going to learn how to build. You're not going to learn how to build every system in the world. So what you are going to build is you're going to first do a teaching around the Botspeak concept. And there's already a bunch of examples here of people who've taught in the Popper project and the Botspeak project. So you can go here to this website, go to modules here, and look at for the modules that exist. So you can take a look at this one, and here's an example. So this is very similar to what you would do for your first assignment. You're going to create a little, this is an introduction to bias. So it explains what is bias. And there are different kinds of bias, machine learning bias, algorithmic bias, ethical bias, societal bias, operational bias, epistemic bias, definitions of bias. And then what we want to get is we want to get examples. Show me how we detect, cognitive bias. How do we detect operational bias? How do we detect societal bias? Often these are done with synthetic data sets. Thus, we create a data set which we know the answers, because the point of this is to look at the tool. Can it do it? Well, if we create a synthetic data set, which is we know that bias exists, well, then we know it's true, and whether the tools are getting it or not. So this is fairly typical of an assignment. This is more than you probably be expected to do, because this is a person doing this for a research effort. Probably more than a assignment one review, but this is sort of close to what your assignment. You're going to teach something related to this idea of skepticism and using automated tools to be skeptical. You have many examples. Most of what I'm going to be doing in class is going through, for example, this example in detail, critiquing it and sharing my thoughts on it, and then how you could take it and make it better. And so you'll be given hundreds of examples of how to do this between the two GitHubs. You'll pick one and you'll improve it. You'll say, okay, I like the way this guy is describing cognitive bias, but I want to take this in a different direction for my assignment. And then do that, and then go and do that. So we'll have lots of examples lots of examples, more than you can really read. But you'll be able just to pick one. So our first thing we're going to do is we're going to talk about, so how do we know something is true? So this is going to be just what's some basic techniques of critiquing. If I get an output from a language model, how can I validate that? What are my approaches? And the thinking, how do we, what is skepticism? Skepticism is not nihilism. It's not just rejecting everything. It's what is the evidence for and what is the evidence against. And if the evidence for is very compelling and the evidence against is weak, then we provisionally accept it. That's what skepticism is. And then what this course is about is how do we write automated tools? How do we write AI tools to help us do that? Because the reason why most people don't do that, it's a lot of work to check bias. But AI, particularly agentic systems, are good at checking things. So what we want these systems to do is that we want them to do all this work for us of gathering the data, and then as a human being, evaluate sort of for and against, and then come up to a decision. That's really what this is about. And so then we get more into actually a data question, like detecting bias in a cancer data set, or, hiring bias in another data set. There are bazillion Kaggle data sets. It's okay to create synthetic data sets, but you're going to pick one example. There, again, already hundreds of examples of people doing this for this in notebooks. So most of you, what you'll do is you'll find a notebook that you like, and then you'll improve it. You always want to cite that notebook that you started from. So we know that, okay, this is where it started from, and this is how you improved it. Then we're going to talk about generative AI for data, meaning how do we generate data sets which can help us validate other data? Because we can generate images, how do we generate images which can reduce bias? So we're going to talk about generative AI, principles of generative AI, but particularly with the focus of how can we use generative AI to improve our models and improve our understanding of what is true and what is not true, or just for understanding. A lot of people here in these notebooks, we're generating synthetic data just to test an algorithm. And the reason why we're generating synthetic data is we know the answer is right or wrong from the synthetic data. Then we're going to talk about causal models, causal reasoning, and particularly something called matching and balancing, and what is a confounder. And so this is really about, how do we adjust our data from confounding? What confounding means is when we get real world data, for example, COVID, people who are more likely to get sick and die from COVID are also the most likely to seek the treatment. So when we deal with observational data, stuff in the real world, that data is not perfectly random. This is what we mean by a controlled study, that we just randomly select people to get a COVID shot and not a COVID shot. That doesn't happen in the real world. The people who are most likely to get sick are the most likely to get the treatment. Well, if something affects both the treatment and the outcome, it's called a confounder. So what we're going to talk about is how to deal with that, techniques of dealing with that. It's primarily a data preparation thing, an observational data. If we use a randomized control study, then it's automatically randomizing it. But that's very expensive, and that's typically not what's done. Typically, what you have is observational data. You just collect whatever you collect. So this is going to be the focus on how do we adjust our observational data for confounding. The fact that not everybody who is seeking this, people who are seeking this are more likely to be affected by it. And how do we deal with that? And then our final thing is going to be the final project. You are going to, over the course of the semester, decide on a real world project that you want to build related to this idea of how do we build tools to know whether something is true or not, to correct our data, to adjust for bias, to check a fact, to do whatever, and then propose a project. Again, there are not hundreds, but there may be 100 projects out there, final projects out there. We are going to critique them, and because they can always be made better. Always be made better. But we'll go through sort of pluses and minuses of this. Again, you're a student, so you're not expected to do things perfectly. You're expected to really give it a good faith effort and to learn. So I've already gone too long with this, but this is the introduction to the course. I'll do a lot more shorter videos of this on thinking. I'm running around 18 minutes now. I want to keep these to around 10. But I will put this one up as our introduction video. Tomorrow is our first class, and there'll probably be 2 or 3 quick follow-up videos on sort of grading, AI policy, all that, which will be maybe 2 or 3 minutes long. Okay, again, just go to the channel. Videos will be up on the channel, and there also we'll discuss this in class. Take care.